The Korean Peninsula, a land steeped in history and divided by ideology, has long been a focal point of global anxiety. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, more commonly known as North Korea, has walked a tightrope between isolation and provocation for decades. At the heart of this precarious balance lies a chilling possibility: the detonation of a nuclear weapon. While the world watches with bated breath, hoping for diplomacy to prevail, the question lingers: what if the unthinkable happens? What if North Korea, in a calculated act of defiance or desperation, unleashes the terrible power of a nuclear bomb? The consequences, both immediate and long-term, would be nothing short of catastrophic. The world holds its breath, clinging to the hope that such a scenario remains confined to the realm of nightmares. Yet the very real threat compels us to confront the potential ramifications, to understand the profound impact such an event would have on the Korean Peninsula and the world at large. The detonation of a nuclear bomb by North Korea would shatter the illusion of peace, unleashing a wave of devastation unlike anything the world has witnessed in recent memory. The immediate impact zone would be obliterated, transformed into a smoldering hellscape of unimaginable destruction. Within a radius of several miles, buildings would crumble into dust, their foundations pulverized by the sheer force of the blast. The air itself would ignite, unleashing a firestorm that would consume everything in its path. Thousands, perhaps tens of thousands, would perish instantly, vaporized in the blink of an eye. Those who survived the initial blast would face a horrific fate: radiation sickness. Invisible and insidious, radiation would seep into their bodies, causing acute radiation syndrome, a gruesome illness characterized by nausea, vomiting, hair loss, and ultimately death. The lucky ones would succumb quickly, spared the agony of a slow and agonizing demise. The shockwaves from a nuclear detonation in North Korea would reverberate far beyond the Korean Peninsula, triggering a global crisis of unprecedented proportions. Fear and uncertainty would grip the world as nations grappled with the implications of this catastrophic event. Political tensions already simmering beneath the surface would erupt with renewed ferocity. Fingers would be pointed, accusations hurled, as the international community struggled to make sense of the chaos. The delicate balance of power, carefully maintained through years of diplomacy, could crumble, pushing the world to the brink of a new and terrifying conflict. The economic consequences would be equally devastating. Global markets would plunge into freefall, sending shockwaves through the global economy. Trade routes would be disrupted, supply chains severed, as fear and uncertainty choked the arteries of international commerce. The fragile web of interdependence that binds our world together would be torn asunder, plunging the global economy into a deep and protracted recession. The detonation of a nuclear weapon by North Korea would be met with swift and resolute condemnation from the international community. The United Nations Security Council would convene emergency sessions, issuing strongly worded resolutions demanding an immediate cessation of all hostile activities and the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. The United States, as a treaty ally of South Korea, would face immense pressure to respond with military force. However, any military action would carry significant risks, potentially escalating the conflict and leading to a wider regional war. The specter of nuclear retaliation, however improbable, would loom large, forcing decision-makers to tread with extreme caution. China, North Korea's closest ally and economic benefactor, would face a particularly difficult dilemma. While condemning the nuclear test, China would be wary of taking any action that could destabilize the region or lead to the collapse of the North Korean regime. Its response would likely involve a delicate balancing act, seeking to maintain stability while also urging its wayward ally to step back from the brink.